Hello, my dear friends. You're welcome on our channel. In this video, we're going to discuss the most important events that took place during the previous hours. We have a lot of very interesting updates too. So let's start. At Kherson, direction clashes yesterday near Antonivsky Bridge. General Staff of Armed Forces of Ukraine reports. Clashes near the Antonivsky Bridge in Kherson continue, with Ukrainian forces repelling Russian assault attempts on October 1920, 2025. Russian troops used fog and rain to try and advance, but Ukrainian defenses remained firm, inflicting heavy losses and preventing breakthroughs. The bridge is strategically crucial as a key crossing over the Dnipro River, frequently targeted and partially destroyed in past fighting. Despite ongoing Russian attacks and bombardments in the area, Ukrainian troops hold the front line near the bridge, maintaining control and disrupting Russian supply routes. This sector remains a focal point of intense combat in the southern front. 3 persons wounded as a result of drone strikes in Kherson. A Russian Shahed drone strike on Kherson's Korabelny district overnight on October 20 to 21, 2025. Wounded 3 people, a 70-year-old woman and 2 men aged 53 and 76. Injuries included blast wounds, concussions, shrapnel wounds, and an open forearm fracture. All injured were hospitalized and are receiving medical care, with their conditions assessed as moderate. The strike also caused fire damage to residential buildings, an educational institution, and a garage in the area. Ukrainian air defenses shot down 1 drone during the attack, but the damage and casualties occurred from other drone hits. At Orikhiv, direction clashes yesterday near Plavny and Primorsky, near Sherbaki, Kamyansky, Novoandriivka, Mala Tokmachka, Stepnohirsk, Stepov, General Staff of Armed Forces of Ukraine reports. Yesterday, in the Orikhiv direction, Ukrainian defenders successfully repelled 6 Russian attacks near Plavny and Primorsky, as well as around Sherbaki, Kamyansky, Novoandriivka, Mala Tokmachka, Stepnohirsk, and Stepov. 2 clashes are ongoing, reflecting continued intense fighting in this sector. Russian forces have not conducted large mechanized assaults here since late summer 2025, yet they persist with smaller attacks and probing actions. This front remains critical as Ukrainian troops hold key positions, thwarting Russian attempts to advance. The General Staff's report also highlights ongoing heavy combat along the broader front, with 133 clashes occurring across multiple directions, including significant pressure on the Pokrovsk sector. Ukrainian forces remain resilient, repelling dozens of enemy attacks, destroying armored vehicles, artillery, drones, and inflicting notable losses on Russian personnel. At Slovyansk, direction clashes yesterday near Yampil, Serebryanka, Dronivka, Ryhorivka, Vyimka, Fedorivka, and towards Zvanivka. General Staff of Armed Forces of Ukraine reports, yesterday at the Slovyansk direction, Ukrainian forces repelled 9 Russian assaults near Yampil, Serebryanka, Dronivka, Ryhorivka, Vyimka, Fedorivka, and towards Zvanivka. These frustrating clashes occurred as part of broader fierce combat across the front line, with a total of 133 battles reported by the General Staff for the day. The Slovyansk sector remains critical as Ukrainian defenders block Russian attempts to gain ground. The enemy launched multiple airstrikes, missile attacks, and thousands of artillery shellings and drone attacks along the entire front. Despite the intensity, Ukrainian forces held firm, inflicting significant losses on Russian personnel and equipment. Multiple clashes are ongoing around the area, reflecting continued resistance amid relentless Russian pressure. The steadfast defense here plays a key role in preventing enemy advances toward important urban centers in eastern Ukraine. At Kostiantynivka, direction clashes yesterday near Oleksandro Shultine, Toretsk, Katarinivka, Sherbanivka, Rusin Yar, Sofiyivka, and Poltavka. General Staff of Armed Forces of Ukraine reports, yesterday in the Kostiantynivka direction, Ukrainian forces repelled 12 Russian attacks near the settlements of Oleksandro Shultine, Toretsk, Katerinivka, Sherbinivka, Rusin Yar, Sofiyivka, and Poltavka, with 1 clash ongoing. This comes amid a broader high-intensity combat environment across the front, with a total of 202 clashes reported in the past day. Russian forces launched multiple airstrikes, rocket attacks, and extensive artillery shelling in various sectors, but Ukrainian defenders continue to hold their positions firmly and inflict heavy losses on the enemy. The fighting around Kostiantynivka is critical, as Russian troops attempt to advance toward key eastern urban centers. Ukrainian units moved reinforcements earlier to contain the pressure. The ongoing clashes demonstrate continued Ukrainian resistance, preventing Russian breakthroughs in this strategically important region. At Kupiansk, direction clashes yesterday near Kupiansk, Petropavlivka, Pishane, Borivska, Andriivka, and Bohuslavka. General Staff of Armed Forces of Ukraine reports. At the Kupiansk direction, clashes occurred yesterday near the settlements of Kupiansk, Petropavlivka, Pishane, Borivska, Andriivka, and Bohuslavka, the General Staff of the Armed Forces of Ukraine reported. The fighting in this sector remains intense as Russian forces continue attempts to advance, facing strong resistance from Ukrainian defenders. The situation in Kupiansk has been challenging for Ukrainian forces, with Russian troops pressing to gain ground, especially in the southern areas. Despite this pressure, Ukrainian units have been holding critical defensive positions while repelling multiple enemy attacks. These clashes are part of ongoing broader combat operations aimed at controlling key logistical and strategic points in eastern Ukraine. At Kursk and North Slobozhansky, Sumy, direction Ukrainian forces have repelled 6 Russian army assaults. General Staff of Armed Forces of Ukraine reports. Yesterday, Ukrainian forces repelled 6 Russian assaults near multiple locations, including Kupiansk, Petropavlivka, Pishane, Borivska, Andriivka, and Bohuslavka in the Kupiansk sector. The Ukrainian General Staff confirmed these engagements, emphasizing ongoing fierce battles as Russian troops attempt to push forward. The Ukrainian defenders have been actively resisting in this area, with Russian forces launching repeated attacks. Despite the multiple assaults, Ukrainian forces managed to hold their ground, inflicting significant losses on the Russian invaders, including tanks, armored vehicles, and personnel. Ukraine is ready to stop hostilities along the current front line. The current line of contact should become the starting point for negotiations, joint statement by Zelensky and other European leaders. Ukraine is prepared to cease hostilities along its existing front line, viewing it as the foundation for future negotiations. This stance was expressed in a joint statement by President Zelensky and other European leaders, emphasizing a willingness to seek a diplomatic solution based on current territorial realities. Russian aviation conducted airstrikes at Orikhiv of Zaporizhia region and Mykolaiivka of Kherson region. General Staff of Armed Forces of Ukraine reports. Russian aviation conducted airstrikes at Orikhiv in the Zaporizhia region and Mykolaiivka in the Kherson region on the 21st of October 2025, as reported by the General Staff of the Armed Forces of Ukraine. The enemy carried out 1 missile strike using 2 missiles and 63 airstrikes, dropping 136 glide bombs, also firing 4,364 artillery and mortar strikes, including 97 with multiple launch rocket systems, and deployed 4,335 kamikaze drones. Ukrainian missile and artillery units targeted 2 clusters of Russian personnel, weapons, and military equipment during this period. Additionally, 202 combat clashes took place on various fronts, with heavy fighting and attacks reported across multiple sectors, including the North Slobozhanskaya, South Slobozhanskaya, and Kupiansk fronts. At Lyman direction clashes yesterday near Kopanki, Torska, Drobyshev, Kolodyazy, and Shandryholov. Kolodyazy, General Staff of Armed Forces of Ukraine reports. Clashes yesterday near Kopanki, Torska, Drobyshev, Kolodyazy, and Shandryholov in the Lyman direction were reported by the General Staff of the Armed Forces of Ukraine. The situation involved multiple combat engagements across different sectors, with Ukrainian forces successfully repelling several attacks and Azerbaijani forces engaging in ongoing clashes with Russian forces. The broader context indicates intense fighting in this region, with ongoing efforts by Ukrainian troops to hold their positions amid Russian assaults. At Pokrovsk direction clashes yesterday near Volodymyrivka, Shakov, Dorozhny, Pankivka, Novoekonomichne, Molodetske, Suketske, Rodinske, Mirnorad, Chervony Lyman, Lysivka, Zvirov, Kotlin, Zelin, Udakny, Dokny, and towards towns Pokrovsk and Novopavlivka, R8, General Staff of Armed Forces of Ukraine reports. Clashes occurred yesterday in the Pokrovsk direction near the settlements of Volodymyrivka, Shakov, Dorozhnya, Pankivka, Novoekonomichne, Molodetske, Suketske, Rodinske, Mirnohrad, Chervony Lyman, Lysivka, Zvirov, Kotlin, Zelin, Udakne, Dokne, and towards the towns of Pokrovsk and Novopavlivka. The General Staff of the Armed Forces of Ukraine reported that Ukrainian forces sustained intense fighting in this area, repelling multiple enemy attacks with 65 attacks recorded specifically in the Pokrovsk direction. Preliminary data indicated that 130 occupiers were neutralized, including 89 permanently. Ukrainian troops also destroyed 1 armored combat vehicle, 7 unmanned aerial vehicles, 4 vehicles, and 3 enemy motorcycles. Several combat clashes were ongoing in this direction as of the last report.